Bangladesh has cancelled a $21 million deal with Indian state-run shipbuilder, marking a fresh low in bilateral relations. The move comes just days after India restricted garment imports from Bangladesh to only two ports. That's Kolkata and Nhava Sheva.
What if I told you that hundreds of billions of dollars have been stolen from Bangladesh, not by thieves in the shadows, but in the glare of daylight, that the rich and powerful allegedly exported so much of the nation's wealth over years abroad, while millions struggled with basic services, inequality, debt? Today, that is not a theory. This is an investigation. This is Bangladesh's missing billions, stolen in plain sight. 1. How did we get here? Bangladesh has been governed by the Awami League under Sheikh Hasina for roughly 15 to 16 years, until August 2024. In 2024, mass protests, especially student-led, challenged the regime. Many of the indictments, investigations, and this documentary, Bangladesh's Missing Billions, Stolen in Plain Sight, rely on that turning point. The central claim: about $234 billion may have been illicitly siphoned out of Bangladesh during Hasina's rule. 2. How does such massive theft even happen? The methods. When we talk about missing billions, it's not just cash being loaded onto trucks. The documentary and sources outline multiple complex, interwoven methods: over-invoicing and under-invoicing in trade, import-export deals where the value of goods is inflated or deflated to hide real money flows. So, money leaves disguised as paying for goods, or arrives disguised. Informal money transfer systems, like hundi or hawala. Unregulated, often undocumented channels used to move funds across borders. Bank takeovers. The documentary reports that upon certain bank directors resisting or being inconvenient, intelligence or powerful figures forced them out, sometimes at gunpoint, and shifted bank share ownership to people close to the regime. Property and real estate abroad. Buying expensive properties, especially in the UK, is a favorite destination for laundered wealth, because real estate is comparatively stable, often opaque, and prestigious. Loan scams, inflated import bills, fake sales contracts. These are used to generate fake debts inside Bangladesh, or inflated cost inside Bangladesh, which are used to justify moving money abroad, or letting insiders profit. 3. The scale and specific allegations. Let's get into the numbers and who's named, because magnitude is what makes this shocking. $234 billion alleged to have been moved out over the Hasina era. On average, that's nearly $16 billion per year in illicit outflows. Pound sterling/UK is a major recipient through property purchases, shell companies, etc. London emerges as a favored destination. Some of the names alleged: Tulip Siddiq, niece of Sheikh Hasina, and until recently UK MP, accused in the documentary of being linked to overseas properties funded via questionable transfers. Saifuzaman Chowdhury, former land minister, alleged to own hundreds of foreign properties across UK, US, Dubai. Mohammed Saiful Alam, Alam Group chair. Also allegations that military intelligence agencies, DGFI, helped in bank takeovers, forced transfers of ownership, intimidation of bank directors, etc. 4. What the impact has been. The real cost is not just the headline dollar amount. Let's see what this alleged capital flight and corruption have done to everyday life, institutions, trust, and future growth. Draining of investment capacity. Money that should have stayed in Bangladesh, been invested in factories, schools, infrastructure, health, instead ends up abroad. That means less capital for public goods. Weakened banking sector. When banks are captured by connected insiders, loans go to cronies, not to productive business. Loan defaults rise, trust falls, which may reduce domestic savings or investments. Inequality and service gaps. While elites accumulate overseas assets, many ordinary people struggle with power outages, poor health, education. The stark contrast heightens frustration, mistrust. Erosion of institutions. Courts, regulatory bodies, anti-corruption agencies are weakened either by political pressure, lack of resources, or threats. International credibility and governance risk. Credit ratings, foreign investment, aid, trade relations all get tainted if corruption is systemic and unresolved. 5. Why has it been so hard to stop, prosecute, or recover? Here's where things get complicated, because allegations are one thing, recovery is another. The documentary and experts highlight multiple obstacles: lack of expert capacity inside Bangladesh, legal experts, forensic investigators, anti-money laundering skills are in short supply. Building a case across jurisdictions is difficult. Complexity of tracing assets. People hiding money can use multiple jurisdictions, shell companies, secret trusts, layered transactions. Tracking them requires international cooperation. Time works against recovery. The longer the money is hidden, the harder it is to trace, as records are erased, revised, or destroyed. Also, legal statutes may change. Political protection. When powerful people are involved, there may be immunity or simply refusal to act, or misuse of law enforcement against critics. International legal weaknesses. Foreign jurisdictions often require strong evidence, slow mutual legal assistance, or are reluctant to freeze assets unless convincingly proven. 6. Recent developments and the turning point. This problem didn't suddenly appear, but recent events have shifted the balance. Hasina's fall from power after protests around 2024 has opened up space for investigations. Many feel there's more willingness now to expose and pursue past abuse. Bangladesh's interim government, headed by Mohammed Yunus, has started taking steps, forming task forces, seeking international help. Media exposure. The FT film is one major moment. It has catalyzed public discourse. It has forced named persons to respond, forced government bodies to promise action. 7. But recovery is still a distant goal. Although the momentum is there, experts believe full recovery is unlikely. Even partial recovery will face huge legal, diplomatic, financial hurdles. Some of the challenges: getting foreign governments to agree to freeze assets, share banking records, different legal systems, privacy laws, corruption in those systems too. Proving ownership or connection. Sometimes people hide ownership of property through intermediaries, trusts, or legal entities in foreign lands. Unless there's a paper trail or whistleblowers, you can't link them. Settlements versus prosecutions. Many asset recovery cases end in settlements. A fraction of what was taken is returned, often in exchange for dropping legal claims. For many citizens, that feels like justice only half done. Risk of reversion. If political will weakens, successors might undo reforms or protect former elites. 8. Why this moment matters and what could be done. Here's why this story shouldn't be just another headline. There's potential, if momentum holds, for real change. And some paths forward: public pressure and awareness. The fact that citizens, especially young people and students, are aware of these allegations and demanding justice matters. Transparency is the first tool. Strengthening institutions. Anti-Corruption Commission, judiciary, audit offices, financial regulators need staff. Independence, political protection. International cooperation, sharing of intelligence, legal assistance, asset freezing abroad, tracking of property ownership overseas. The UK, for instance, is being asked to help. Forensic accounting, data transparency, trade data, financial flows, beneficial ownership registries. If public, keepers of records can expose irregularities. Legal reforms, better whistleblower protection, stronger anti-money laundering laws, stricter penalties, clear statutes of limitation. 9. Important questions and ethical reflections. As we piece this together, it's not just about proving something, it's about what ethics, justice, society demand. Let me pose some questions. What is the cost of missing billions to the average person? If even a fraction of those funds had been used for better schools, hospitals, roads, what could change? Is it enough to recover money, or do we need accountability? Restitution matters, but so does sending a message. Wrongdoers are punished. Can a country truly move forward if wealth is exported in plain sight? What does it do to trust between state and citizen? Between citizen and institutions? How does global governance factor in? Many of the places where the money ends up are outside Bangladesh. Those jurisdictions' laws and willingness to act are part of the problem. So is global inequality in law enforcement. 10. What we don't yet fully know. There are still gaps, uncertainties. because secrecy, legal obstruction, and power dynamics obscure many details, some of the unknowns. Precisely how much of the alleged $234 billion is provably traceable? Some of that number is based on estimates, models, whistleblowers. Which assets exactly? Who owns what overseas? Under what name? How many legal cases are ongoing? How many verdicts? How many convictions? How much will be recovered? How and when? These unknowns don't mean the claims are false. They mean that what is public so far is tip of an iceberg. 11. Personal stories and social mood. One of the powerful things about the FT documentary is it doesn't just give numbers. It shows faces, voices, people who have suffered, people who dared to protest. Student protesters like Rafia Renoumahridi and Rezwan Ahmed Rifad talk about what pushed them into the streets, what they saw, what they felt. Citizens living with shortages, infrastructure problems, corruption in small daily dealings. The contrast between elite wealth abroad and basic shortcomings at home makes this visceral. That mood of frustration, of enough is enough, is part of what makes this moment potentially transformative, but also dangerous if elites strike back. 12. What would success look like? If Bangladesh succeeds in addressing this crisis, what might that look like? Convictions of major figures, not just mid-level ones. Real recovery of stolen assets, properties, money, maybe some percentage of that $234 billion. Even tens of billions recovered would be a win. Institutional reforms that make similar theft much harder. Strong audits, open beneficial ownership, checks on bank takeovers. Transparency, so people know how money is raised, spent, procured. A more equitable society, public services improved, less infrastructural inequality, more trust in government. 13. Risks and what could go wrong. We shouldn't assume this will be easy. There are many ways this story could get derailed. Political pushback. Those implicated often have power, resources, and allies. They may fight investigations, hire lawyers, intimidate, or influence courts. Corruption of the recovery process. Recovering money is its own vulnerable process. If oversight is weak, recovered assets could be misused. International legal obstacles, delays, loopholes, jurisdictional issues can stall or block asset recovery. Public disillusionment. If promises are made, but little action happens, people may lose hope, protests may fade, momentum may be lost. 14. A look ahead. What to watch for. As a viewer or citizen or someone curious, what should you watch in the coming months/years? Are asset recovery task forces producing results? Not just forming committees, but actual returned assets. Are trials happening, verdicts being delivered at high levels? Is there transparency in trade invoicing, bank ownership, land transfers? Is foreign cooperation growing? UK, UAE, Switzerland, etc. Are reforms in anti-corruption law, audit oversight, financial regulators being passed and enforced? 15. The global ripple effect. Why the world should care. This isn't just Bangladesh's problem. When billions are stolen from a developing nation and parked in foreign banks or properties, the impact goes far beyond borders. Illicit financial flows hurt global financial stability, foster inequality between nations, and even create safe havens for corruption worldwide. Think about it. Those billions could have fueled infrastructure, green energy projects, technology startups, or education systems in Bangladesh. Instead, they sit in luxury apartments in London or offshore accounts in places like the Cayman Islands. Here's the kicker. When powerful elites get away with it in one country, it sends a signal to corrupt figures everywhere. It's possible. That is why international cooperation matters so much. Global institutions, governments, even financial watchdogs must take responsibility. Because if one country can clean up and recover its wealth, it sets a precedent. It tells the world that stolen money, no matter where it hides, can be brought back home. This isn't just a story of corruption. It is a story of betrayal, of what happens when power isn't checked, when elites loot in plain sight, and when a country's future is siphoned away under the weight of silence. But most of all, it's a chance for justice, for reform, for reclaiming what was taken. If Bangladesh can recover even a fraction of those billions, strengthen institutions, hold people to account, the ripple effects will be enormous. schools could be built, hospitals improved, services restored, trust rebuilt, hope renewed. So here's what you can do. Share this knowledge, demand transparency, support those who expose the truth, push for reform, because change doesn't happen by waiting. It happens when people speak up. If you found this story powerful, hit subscribe so you don't miss further deep dives. Share this video with others, because the more people who know, the harder it becomes to ignore. This is our moment, not to stay silent, not to accept the stolen billions, but to reclaim them, reclaim our rights, and demand a Bangladesh where nobody can steal in plain sight.